Mic check, one, two, two, two. Oh, let me get a mic check, bro.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes,
No, I
sir.
ain't never
Yes,
been
sir.
no MC. I don't know how to do that.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome, 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 welcome to another One Love Entertainment podcast. Todd Williams, and thank y'all for tuning in. If you're tuning in on Facebook, you can also check us out on YouTube. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, please subscribe. You know, the more the merrier. So we're gonna get this party started. It's Friday. I know people ready to go party and get get the weekend started.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a special guest up in the building this evening, and he goes by the name of Eric O. Junkins is in the building. Welcome, bro. Welcome, welcome.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's been a long time. We've been trying to make this happen for a minute.
You're a busy man.
I know. This last couple months was real hectic with boxing, man.
Right.
So.
And I'm glad you made the time today. And
no doubt,
man. And I know you gotta get back at it tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Back at it tomorrow, next week.
Right.
Man. I chose that. I love it.
Right. Well, since we tell the world, and I always say tell the world because I'm trying to go worldwide, bro. So tell the world a little bit about yourself, man.
All right. I'm born and raised West Trend. That's West Trend, baby. Boxing and all the stuff we doing now is stuff we always did. I got into it a little bit later because as a teen, my mother would let me into it. So when I got a little older, late teens, that's when I went 20, 19, and I went, because all my boys was in it. The guys I was hanging with at the time, Keith Feliciano, Sean Brown, Anthony Carrier, Terry Singletary, all them guys, Hook, Humphrey. It was the guys I hung around. So, started going, and it was tough. I had guys like Cecil Bangin, Ozzie Ingram trying to knock my block off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I knew Tyrone Tyler because my peoples lived down. My grandmother and all of them lived in Wilbur section. So they was from Wilbur section. So, you know, it was cool. You know, that was the era back then. A lot of people box. I mean, you couldn't throw a rock and not hit a boxing gym. You know, somebody in their family boxed. So it was just a natural thing to gravitate to once I got older. You know, I was in and out the gyms up until like, I guess the late 90s. You know, and then life took over a little bit. You know, you got the family, the kids. And what ended up happening was I got a little bored. You know, I would do the everyday routine. I said, I got to do something with myself. Then I started with my brother Solomon. Even back then, we used to, so I did a lot of stuff, man. I was involved in a lot of stuff. Like me and Solomon had Soldier Square. We used to sell books, DVDs. Back in the early 90s, we were selling the oils and the clothes, all the Afrocentric stuff. And we was going to specifically seeking out black entrepreneur shirt makers and clothing makers instead of going to Chinatown like everybody else was in, or the garment district and getting them the material. You know what I mean? That stuff. We was finding the black creators and we was buying their stuff. New Heritage, that was on Mark 125th. There's a kid named Ezra Zulu. So we, you know, I done that. Then, you know, we got into the books, the DVDs. Then that's when I went back into boxing. And I went back as a coach with Goss and Goss. And, you know, started right there with Mike Hilton. He was one of the first guys I started coaching because nobody wanted to coach him. Oh, wow. Well, you know, all those guys, Rob and Kaleem and them, they had their own group of fighters. Was, you know, he was trying to find a trainer and they was like, nah, go to O. So he was the first guy I took on, man. And he was a project. He had heart and dedication out of this world. If I could put his heart and dedication, 10 kids in that gym, I'd have been a millionaire. Nothing like him. Man. You know, so I got into that and we started, you know, it was rough in the beginning. You know, I'm learning as a coach because it's a difference in being a fighter and then being a coach. Everybody think because you box, you can naturally coach, you can naturally teach. That's not true. Some of the best fighters I know is terrible as coaches. You know, I wouldn't even let them coach my opponent. You know what I mean? It's a whole different animal. So you got to learn how to teach. And see, boxing didn't come easy for me. Like, you know, I had Mark Ford and all them, Born Truth and them. We was all together. They was picking up on stuff quick. I couldn't catch it. I'm like, man, what the heck? You know, and I love boxing since the 70s. I used to watch it with my pop on Wild World of Sports. And so I used to have to practice like repetition after the gym. I'm in the attic or I'm at my house in the basement working on the stuff I was, you know, doing all day. And I had to just, you know, drill it. So that, you know, helped me as a coach. So I knew the process. Some guys just pick up movement. They pick up certain stuff naturally. Like Roy Jones. Roy Jones got great boxing knowledge, but technique-wise and the stuff he got away with, everybody can't get away with it. Dying in the ring, getting punched all upside the head. Absolutely. So it helped me as a coach. So now I know how to drill it and teach it, and you know. And that's a skill in itself. And for me, like, you know, the fighters is competing, they getting all the glory, the trophies, but behind the scenes, they don't know the coaches is playing chess. It's a chess match. If you got your fight, I got my fight. I'm counting your moves. Like, okay, I see what they're doing. I'm gonna come back to the corner. I'm gonna count it. So it's fun for us too. You know what I'm saying? Then you watching somebody come in the door, don't have no coordination, no balance, no skills, and you turn it to like a national champion or that's the best feeling in the world. I bet. The best feeling in the world. You created that. Yeah. And then you watch him blossom. I got a kid right now. He's 16. This kid came in my gym because I trained his cousin, his older brother. I had them first. And there's two of his older cousins and his older brother. And his mom started bringing him. From Trenton? Yeah, they're from Trenton. Okay. Alexander, Kevin Alexander, Jeremiah, Jabbar, they all cousins and brothers and stuff.
Okay.
And he used to hide.
Hide?
Yeah, he was fat. He was a little fat joker. And he would hide like in the corner because the gym be packed.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? While everybody training, he hiding, snacks in his pocket. And shit. I'm like, you little fat dude. He ain't trying to do nothing, man.
Right, right.
At the time, his attention was going to his cousin because his cousin was. I had his cousin since she was about 9 or 10 years old, and that dude is a monster. And his brother Jabbar. So I was giving them a little bit more attention. But I used to catch my eye because I don't miss nothing in the gym. I could be watching Joker's box over there, and I could see everybody doing everything. And I said, "Look at this little chubby." You know what I mean? I said, so his mom was gonna pull him out. I said, "Nah, it's gonna click one day."
Right.
She said, "Yeah." I said, "It's gonna click." I said, "He be here around it. You got him here. He's eventually gonna click." And
sure.
Right before COVID, that year before COVID, it clicked.
Wow. Word.
That joker, man, he went from 208 pounds, he weighed 147 pounds right now.
Wow.
He was in sparring in Delaware yesterday.
Wow.
Because preparing for tomorrow. And this dude, man, made leaps and bounds. And now he's 16. He got in the gym. He wasn't serious. He got in the gym around 12, something like that. But it was in and out, half-hearted, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But the last, 2-3 years, man, this dude transformed, man. He's southpaw, orthodox. He can do it all.
Right.
He's still learning, though. It's still a process.
That's good training. Good training, and you stayed on him. Then his brothers and cousins doing, so, he couldn't go home without, Yep.
And his brothers and his cousins was competing at the time. He wasn't fighting. Now it's his turn.
Right.
And he leading the pack. He's the face of the gym right now. I got Chris Martinez, Dominican cat. He won the gloves this year. Novice class, 154 pound. So he another one that's gonna blossom.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But he's a little older. He's not a teenager, but he had it natural. He came to my gym. He was with another guy and he wasn't really learning nothing. The guy was basically, because they had some talent, just rolling with it. You got coaches like that. They just, oh man, he can fight already. They want to be seen. I'm not that type of guy.
Right.
So he got in my gym. We had to make some adjustments, improvements, add some stuff, take away some stuff.
Good.
Now he got my system. He got my style now. He started getting my style now. So, and he was clean. We just fought in the gloves. It was a 5-week tournament. I think we fought 6 times in 5 weeks. The last week we fought back to back. The same guy, Friday night and Saturday.
Wow.
It was a double elimination tournament, and which was a good thing because he got 6 fights in 5 weeks. Sometimes it might take a whole year to get 6 fights.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in the amateurs.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was good, man. Now we coming off of that, and we had to go right into getting ready for this show,
which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock. People come through. The kids needed support. Miller Street, Knuckle Game Boxing Gym. Ike Williams got 2 killers on the bill.
And speaking of that, because that's where you train out of, Ike Williams Gym.
Yeah, my gym is Ike Williams Boxing Academy, and we out off of Hamilton Avenue. I named it after Ike because he was the only world champion coming out of Trenton. Only guy that held a world title, and he's recognized. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's ranked in the top 10 greatest lightweights of all time.
Okay,
that's in history.
Right.
So he was a bad man. You could check him out on YouTube.
Right.
I think he held the longest combination or barrage of punches in the history of boxing. This dude was throwing punches in one combination for about a minute. You find all that stuff on YouTube, and he was from the town. So I said, ain't nothing really. The Gosses have their legacy. The Bostons, a lot of the families have I said, I'm gonna name my gym after him.
And if they don't, there is a statue of Ike over by the
Mill Hill,
Ike Williams Center.
Yeah, that's something different.
So those people don't know about that statue. The statue is right there with a little info on that as well.
Yeah. Well, with the information age, they can find a lot about it because I still watch videos made by different people on YouTube about him.
Right.
And he was real fly with, real cool with Sugar Ray Robinson and all of them. They was like, they was peers, you know, how these young guys team, you know.
Right.
Now that was his peer group at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and he was trained, it's a funny thing, he was trained by Barry Goss, Sammy Gosson and Dad.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was trained by their dad.
Wow.
And they were some bad jokers, man. You had some great fighters come out of Trenton that you don't particularly hear about. Redberry, William Redberry. What's his name? Brian. He won the Nationals. Red won the Nationals. Because Mike is the first heavyweight in New Jersey. My Mike Hilton is the first heavyweight in New Jersey to win 2 national titles.
Okay.
He won the USA Nationals, which put him on the USA team with, I don't know, he got to tell me, I know Erickson Lubin and I think Spence and all of them have been on. Clarissa Shields, all of them was on that team. Yeah. And he won the Golden Glove Nationals in 2015. And that time, I was the head coach of the New Jersey team. And that year, him, Jerron in his boots from Philly, the welterweight champion. Shakur Stevens, Shakur and all them was on the Jersey team. And Boots and them was on the Philly team. And Boots' father, which is a good friend of myself, Rob, and we all go to their gym in Philly called the Dungeon. He was the head coach of the Philly team, Pennsylvania team. And Mike won that. And he's the only heavyweight in the state of New Jersey to do that. So yeah, he got some accolades, man. He's still undefeated as a pro.
Right. Like he came down a little bit.
Yeah, his weight fluctuates because he stayed in the gym. Him, Bo Lattimore Jr. That's another one of my guys. You know.
Okay.
Bo transitioning into a trainer now. So
okay. You know. And I think I've seen him working with some kids too.
Yeah. Bo got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Cool.
But he was pretty good. He was good. I remember he started out as, you know, when he was a young little chubby kid. Yeah, that's when I was in and out the gyms in the late 90s and going into the early 2000s. And I used to see him. I knew who his dad was, and I knew his mom's side of the family. So I used to took a liking to him, show him some stuff whenever I was there. And then when I came back as a coach, you know, his pop was still around. That was my guy. He started being in my gym with me.
What is the age range like?
Oh, from 8 on up.
8 on up?
Yeah. Okay. When they under 8, people think my son's different. Nah, his son's still immature. Like they're not ready because boxing is monotonous and it's boring, especially in the beginning. You got, it's repetition. Kids' attention span is not that.
Right.
Under 8, their mind ain't developed like that.
Right.
They focus.
Right.
So, you home messing with your son for about 1 or 2 minutes, you might think he float the next Floyd. I get him in that gym and get him in a routine, and you find out he still want to play.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I take him about 8. I like him really. Me personally, I like him around 10.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll take him at 8. But I like him around 10. They're a little bit more mature enough to handle it. Then.
I was talking to Jazier was here Monday, and little conversation we had. Being in the gym sometimes, a lot of, like you said, like an 8-year-old, they mind all over the place. So if a trainer is not really dealing with them one-on-one, of course they're going to be somewhere doing something else. Yeah. So, like you said earlier, you keep your, you can see everything that's going on in the gym, who's doing what, who's not doing what they're supposed to be. How do you keep your fighters motivated, going? Because sometimes, I've been in that situation. Mugs, ain't pay me no attention sometimes.
Yeah, and I went to their gyms.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, so it kind of, he give you something to do, but what about me over here?
And see, that's what makes me the trainer I am, because I didn't get that attention at first either. I looked at all the stuff that I didn't learn, and I remember Barry them taught me a lot, Sammy them taught me a lot, but I learned a whole lot in a short period of time with Red Berry. And it was stuff that he focused on that nobody else did. And I used to be in Monterey Gym. That's Muggsy's gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen how they operated. And I just watched how things were. And I said, I didn't think I was ever going to be a coach, but when I became a coach, I went back and I thought about all the stuff that would have made me a good fighter.
Right.
The attention and the different things that could have helped me have more confidence or take the game more serious. And that's the approach I take.
Right.
I did all that wasn't done for me for the guys I'm in.
That you training.
Yeah, like I'll be one-on-one with them. I bond with them.
Mm-hmm.
They never took me to spar at different gyms. You know, he was either Mugs, but then at the time, you know, we had more guys in the gym. So you might have had 10 guys or 7 guys at 175.
Right.
So we really didn't have to go. But that stuff going out to different states and different gyms helps prepare them kids to fight outside of their own little comfort zone. That prepares them for when they do get to the boxing show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not so nervous. A lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of stuff that I didn't get, I teach my guys and I show them and I study the game. And you still learn as a coach. I'm still learning how to do different stuff. I go other places. I see certain things. Oh, man, that look like that. And I put my little spin on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody do it.
Right.
No one coach know everything.
Right.
That's it. You find somebody, they tell you, I know everything, get away from it. It's just like a fighter constantly learn, coaches constantly learn, because the game constantly evolves. You look at the different eras now in boxing. You look at the Floyd era. Before that, you had those, you know, those fighters before that, the Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns era. And I studied boxing, and you just watch how the skill set changed.
Absolutely.
Right now, we're going through a change where now 90% of the kids, well, I know in my gym at least, and then when I was in Philly, a couple places, they could switch naturally. So Terrence Crawford and Jerron Ennis is leading that charge.
Right.
So the fighters coming up now, I got, like I'm saying, I was telling you about Jeremiah early. Jeremiah was switching at 15, 14. His cousin Kevin, which was before him, he wasn't switching until about 19, 17, 18, 19. So they're getting it early because the way boxing is changing.
Right.
So, you know, guys don't see that, you know, so you got to change with what's going on. Lomachenko came in the game, and that foot movement changed. You had to be quick on your feet, and there was quick angles and different stuff. Floyd came with the Philly shell, which we saw earlier with Georgie Benton and James Toney. Mm-hmm. But Floyd made it popular in the last 20, 25 years. So now everybody do that. That's part of just basic boxing now.
Because at one point you couldn't. It was I know some trainers would go off when you switch. You know.
Yes, they do.
So, and you're right. Things change, and you know, and I is like a strategy. You know what I'm saying? You know, switch, and you know, and you can throw them off their game.
Of course. I mean, this tournament here. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna go back to the tournament, but we was in Philly Monday sparring, and Chris, he switches. He came out southpaw, and I'm listening. And the gym he was at was where Boots and them trained, but they trained in the daytime. So his older brother Pooh, which was a dynamic. He was, oh my gosh, he was a monster. His brother Farad, they was killers, and it was one of his guys. So Chris came out southpaw. So Pooh like, yeah, he's southpaw, do this, do that, third. I'm on the side laughing. I'm saying, this dude's a natural orthodox. He threw the whole game off. Then he switched. They was like, you know what I mean? Because they thought he was southpaw. Right, he boxed the first minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes of the round southpaw. He did that one time when we was fighting last year. We was up in, who was that? Somewhere in Union, up North Jersey somewhere. And he was boxing this kid. He was fighting this kid. And in the middle of the first round or something, he switched. And used to do literally just froze and looked back at his corner like, what the hell? He didn't know what to do.
Right.
Just lit his ass up. Oh, I can't cuss on him, my bad.
No, yeah, you good.
Told his ass out the bracket. You know? But that's like common now.
Right, yeah.
It's common.
Yeah.
You know, all my guys, Mike can fight southpaw. Bo is southpaw. Naturally, he fighting orthodox. They get influenced by the younger kids. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta move with the times, and you gotta keep adding on. And you know, like we'll go spar, and we'll spar. They might be a level above us, and you don't spar. I don't spar to that level. I don't train to say, okay, we're gonna catch them at that level, because they're gonna still progress too. So I think way ahead. When I look at a kid and I'm watching him box, I ain't looking at him fighting Saturday. I'm looking at him fighting number one kid in the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the level. Because I've been a national coach twice. I had the New Jersey team twice, 2012 and 2015. And you going up against the best in the country. And it's just changed your whole perspective, man.
So basically, you're training them for that.
Yeah.
You know, everything you're doing right now, I'm tuning you.
Yeah.
But I'm getting you ready for
international, because you know Mike fought on the USA team. He fought in the Pan Am Games, the World Games. That's equivalent to the Olympics.
Right.
And he fighting against Cuba, Russia, China, everybody. So he fought in 7 different countries, Brazil. This is boxing. With that USA team, that's the goal. You get that international competition. Now you fighting the top guy in Germany. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
he represented his country. That's what we aspire to. We could, like, man, who want to be? I mean, nothing against Trenton, but you can be the king of Trenton.
Right,
because you spin the globe, and nobody gonna find it unless they know where it's at.
Right.
You want your name to be known. Like Mike name at one time, he was ranked number 1 in the country for like 3 years. And it was people that knew who he was. They never see him. And he never saw them. They on the other side of the country.
Wow.
That's the goal. Somebody know your name. They ain't never see you in day.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the goal. That's how I look at boxing.
Right.
You know, so I ain't training just to be the king of Trenton or New Jersey. It's a big world out there.
Right. And you know, just one, you doing something that you love, you're passionate about, and you taking some of the youth, some of these kids, and turning their lives around. You showing them some skills, you know, discipline. A lot of life skills.
Yes. It's just not me. I got my big cousin Joe Tucker Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big part of that.
Okay.
Solomon and Devon with the conditioning and the different exercises and stuff that they bring. Cool. They always in the gym. A part of we all affiliated together. Mm-hmm. We move together. Mm-hmm. You know, we take each other where the other go. You know what I'm saying? We had a boxing show. If I throw the show, they did. Okay. You know, we support each other, and so it's a combination of a bunch of us, but it's a family. Paul Davis, you know, you had Casey was with me at one time, and you know, we come in, it's a family. You come in my gym, it's a family. We have fun. Good. Because I'm a fool, born again fool. I'm having fun. You get knocked out, I'm laughing. I'm clowning you. Don't come in there doing something goofy, because it's over for you.
I always say, anything you do, most importantly, have fun. Yeah. Have fun, you know. You gotta have fun. Take it seriously, but have some fun.
Because boxing boring. I mean, it's repetitious, it's monotonous, so it could get, as a coach, it get boring. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there watching paint dry. You get 10 kids that ain't never fight in their life, and you gotta teach them how to step, and that's a boring thing. You be sitting there like, oh, but it's, you know,
it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Challenge ain't the word. It's just, and you doing it over and over for hundreds and hundreds of kids. And I got boxes full of applications of former, members. I don't know. It might be 1,000 kids I've been training in the last 20 years.
Right.
That's a lot, bro.
How many days a week are y'all open training? And
6.
6?
Yeah, 6 days a week.
Sunday rest day.
Sunday rest day.
Okay.
Saturday rest day for me.
You know what, Mike? I see this, Mike.
Oh man,
No, this ain't you. It's, hey, sometimes when I might need your help with this.
That's all right.
I might have to give it to you to hold it.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
I might start singing and stuff. I'm holding out for like Luther real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I'm only in here once a week, and so some things, I see it slipping off. So
I understand.
You got fast hands.
Not no more. It ain't like that no more. That age coming, that's just starting to catch up. It's life though. I'm glad we were able to sit back and talk about 30, 40 years ago.
Hey, absolutely.
There's a lot of these young fellas, man. These kids out here, they ain't living long.
That's why I applaud you on what you do, bro. I really do. That's like you coming home 6 days in the gym with other kids, and then you trying to go home to your family.
I got grandkids.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just worth it because
you do this. Squeeze that whole thing.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good now.
Okay. Yeah.
But we got to remember, I played sports. We played sports back in the day, baseball. West End. I played down there. So, they used to come pick us up.
Right.
I remember going to places with Doug Palmer when I was 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing baseball,
Let me help you with that because it's irritating me now. So what I'm going to do.
I hold the mic.
Yeah, you can pop.
I don't know how to do that, man. Oh, I got you. Now what?
Okay.
We're just making a few mic adjustments here.
I wish I could sing because I'll break down some lyrics stuff. Yeah.
Mic check. Okay, you good.
Yeah, I'll sing now. I might kill all your audience.
Oh man, listen, you might actually help my audience.
Nah, I might be helping the local hospital because I'm gonna be busting some eardrums.
Oh.
Yeah.
So okay. Little minor adjustment, people. We work it out around here,
That's it.
I'm only in here once a week, and I think things start to miss me sometimes when I ain't in here.
But we ain't in no $1 million studio. Where I like to be in the grassroots, But we graduate to that.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
So now, because I know it's Friday, so we're going to get into a little something else real quick. We're going to, I party promoter and boxer.
I used to do all that.
Yeah.
I got some interesting facts I don't think people know.
Well, let's talk about it.
All right.
Okay.
I was the creator of the House Music Festival.
Say it again.
I was the creator of the Trenton House Music Festival myself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it from going to Lincoln Park every year.
Mm-hmm.
And one year I came back. We came back, myself, Puff, Buddha, and Rodney Jenkins. We sat there and talked. I said, man, we could do that here in Trenton. So he was like, yeah, that'd be nice. And he was right. In fact, we all met up after. He was right by Mill Hill Park. I said, right in this park right here. I'm saying, this is before everybody. You had, what's that? The one in Winnetka Park. One of them, it's 1,000 of them now, but back then it was just Lincoln Park and Weequahic Park. There wasn't no Roselle and none of that. It wasn't none of East Orange and none of that stuff was happening. And so that year, I said something. This might have been 2010. In 2011, like, what's good, y'all? Like, wasn't really went to see. I think that year Joe Cassell burnt the Lincoln Park down. I mean, I was like, damn. So it just had me going. I said, man, I'm gonna get something going. I think that summer of 2012, I went to Lincoln Park and I came back. I said, man, we doing something. So they wasn't quick to move on it. They was doing what they was doing. Mm-hmm. I reached out to Eddie Boone. Mm-hmm. Eddie Boone was like, yeah, I'm in. He said, but I got a couple partners I want to bring in. Mm-hmm. I said, man, this house is y'all thing. I'm just a fan. I just see a vision for the city.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
He brought in Quest and his brother named Gusto. And me and Quest hit off just like that. That's my guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Gusto, I think during when we set, he just faded away. I don't think he wanted to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a month because Linkin Park was in July, and we ended up having the very first one in like late August, early September. We had a month to put it together. And me and Quest, that was my man. We just hit it off and was in sync, and we knocked that shit out. And I think the first year we had a couple hundred people.
That was in 2012, was it? 2012, okay.
2012. And then 2013, it was pretty cool. It was we had a couple hundred people. It kind of rained. I think we caught the wrong part of the summer because towards the end of the summer it rains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we caught that. So it didn't, the first one, it was we only had a month. But I mean, we did it.
Mm-hmm.
So the following year, picked up a few more people to help because they remember last year and people was, like this gonna be something. And I think we had got my man Ade, Sonya Wilkins and them, Trina Stewart, my man Tim Butler and his wife, they came aboard, and there's a couple other people. So year two was pretty decent. Still wasn't, what I envisioned, but it was picking up steam. Mm-hmm. We throwing parties to raise money and stuff. And so a lot of people don't really know we didn't get money from the city and no big sponsorship. We raised that money.
Right.
And each year we start growing, and it was costing more and more money. And then the third year, that's when Mark came in. Mm-hmm. Mark had he had a nice little movement going on, which was kind of like it was like a little competition. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we don't need to compete. It's not a large demographic because house heads don't get younger, they get older.
Right.
North Jersey, maybe, down here, they get older. So we compete for the same demographic. So it's like, man, listen, we pull this together, we can make this strong. And Mark came with his people and his ideas and stuff, and it started working. Year three, it started picking up. Mm-hmm. Now we getting house music legends and stuff like that. We to come down and play and perform and stuff like that. We was kind of like Linkin Park's little sister because we had like a relationship with them. And one year we booked the same act, which was 10 City by our thing, but we had him first.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so he couldn't perform certain songs in Newark that he did
already with you.
Trenton, yeah, because we had him first. So we was all cool, and we had their hosts. He was hosting our stuff.
Okay.
So we kind of had like we was their little baby sister because at that time, there was no, like I said, Roselle. It was no other house music. It was Weekway Park, Linkin Park,
right,
and Trenton. You know what I'm saying? Not including the stuff from New York and all that shit. But so we started growing, and each year it got bigger and bigger. More people got involved, more headache, more money we got to raise. It was getting into the tens of thousands to start doing that stuff. People don't realize to give something free, it costs a whole lot of money. And we wasn't, like I said, we didn't have the support of no sponsor or no city, and start growing and growing. And then at the same time, I'm throwing parties, we doing house music parties. And then me and Jamal Johnson, we created Platinum Entertainment at work. It was the original Platinum Entertainment was me, him, and Glenn McCoy.
Right.
Then we started doing that. I'm doing the house music. I'm doing boxing shows. I got professionals fighting. I still work in Manhattan to this day.
Okay.
So I'm doing all this stuff, man. By year 5, I'm burning out. I got to choose something. Where my heart at?
Right.
I love house music, but my heart is in boxing. So Mark, it's you, brother. And he took it, and how I envisioned it is how he got it.
Good.
Hats off to him. He been doing his thing. He got the thing reputable, where it's respected. And the numbers, I like them thousands. Cause I go to, outside events other than Lincoln Park. We was going stuff, and I don't go and stuff in the city and stuff. I seen what an outdoor event supposed to look like, and he got our stuff respected, bro. Right. So I take my hat off to him. It fell in the right hands. He kept it going. He made it stronger. Yeah. So I give him that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing what I love to do, and I go support, sit back in the cut, and look at like, damn, this is what I'm talking about. You can do it too. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And then I'm throwing parties and stuff, and then Bart the Ripper came along, and then Lance Lopez and Platinum Entertainment. We was doing our thing, man.
Oh, I remember.
It was some nice parties, man. Yeah. So did that.
Pisces the events.
On another note, another first, my brother Solomon, we did Soldier Square. We was Soldier Square. We was the first to bring Umar Johnson in Trenton. Very first. And we had myself, him, Darren Freedom Green was with us. And guess who filmed it? And was the cameraman, Bruce Boyd.
Oh, Bruce been around. Well, I've been around.
Okay. I know they've been around. Okay. Anthony been the party king since we was out back in the 90s, and man, back then, man, ain't been around, man. People said, Anthony Walker, man, he had them joints back then. But we brought Umar Johnson down here first, and this is before he became who he is now. But then I think Mifa couldn't have brought him back to back after that. Okay. But I did a lot of different things that I didn't get, that people might not know that I was a part of. We was doing, we had like this, even before the house music thing, we was doing like old school stuff at the park. And then it was the Tracy's Kitchen. At one time, his brother had it, and me, Nina Dog and stuff, we would do stuff in there too. Yolanda, Landy, and that. This is going back before 2010. You talking 2006, 7, 8, around that time. So we've been involved. I've been involved with helping the city, doing stuff for the town for a long time, because like I'm going out of town and I'm enjoying this stuff in Philly and New York and all that stuff. I'm like, man, we could do that here, man. And we right in this. Trenton is what I tell people is South Central New Jersey. We're not South, we're Central, but we're South part of Central. Then South Jersey to me is Camden, Burlington, that. I'll be having these conversations when I'm in the city. And people don't realize, they know about Trenton.
Oh yeah. They know.
Some in bad ways. And then some in good ways. Because PRT and some more of them, they put the town on the map.
On the map. Absolutely.
Wise is very respected in the hip hop community. Yes. He's one of the best lyricists. You know what I mean? Some more is respected. She doing her thing with the comedy, and she producing. So we got some people out there that brought some light to the town, and other people, and then we gonna bring it in boxing.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
It's gonna bring it back in boxing.
So back to the boxing tomorrow. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in Miller Street, Knuckle Game
Boxing Gym.
It's a boxing show. You gotta come through. Come see my little killers, man. This little dude, you're gonna fall in love with him, man. Okay. Because he got charisma, he cool, he laid back. He got an old spirit, man. He's 16 years old, but I think he act like he got kids in college and been around here for about 40 years. He laid back, but humble. Okay. Real smart, humble. Okay. And that's a lot of, boxing teaches humility too.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you, man. I appreciate you. One of the good things about doing this podcast, I learn a lot. Every guest comes on here and things they be telling me, I didn't know this and I didn't know. I'm learning. I'm learning the history about some of the things here in our city. So I thank you and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey. I don't get invited. I don't know what I did. Well, everybody in town, but they don't invite me nowhere.
See, but I don't. My thing is, you're legendary. You're legendary, bro. Okay, let's keep on. You're legendary, you know. And everybody that done their thing, and either whether you started it or you was part of it, or your name speaks volume. People know who you are. You're legendary. So, I definitely try to get the big dogs and the legends on my podcast, and even up and coming, so some of your fighters that I hope to meet tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you're going to meet him, come through. I'll definitely introduce you to him, because, one day they're going to be sitting in this spot.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm looked at as a legend. I appreciate that. I never looked at myself as that.
Bro, listen.
I know I've been around a lot of people, but I looked at them as legendary.
Listen, man, some people don't understand some wisdom that you may have spoken to maybe me or someone else. Took that a long way, worked with that, carried that on. Those are legendary things in my mind, my heart. Good peoples is hard to find. And, you're one of those good brothers, man. Always.
You know how we played from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man.
I have always had a great deal of respect for you. I can watch you do your thing.
Yes. But before we go, now, I know a lot of those that are friends with O on Facebook. He loves vinyl now. He loves the vinyl, and he dropped the needle on the record, and he be having them battles. Like,
well, what it is I learned by collecting music that a lot of songs that we like were covered. There was covers, what we call covers,
right?
And I'm finding out half of Luther's biggest hits of Shaka Khan was remakes. Whitney Houston, Nita Baker, everybody, even the people in the 70s, our legendary groups, Temptations and all those different groups, they remade stuff.
Right.
So when you start, you go down that rabbit hole, you start finding out like, whoa. And it was white groups making this stuff first. So what I was doing was like, all right, I like this version and this version. Let me see what everybody else did.
Yeah, who made it better?
Who did it better?
Yeah.
And that's where that came from. Yeah. And then it became a thing because I didn't realize how much of that stuff I had in my collection already.
Right.
Some stuff I got to go out and find because I'll think I got a list of who covers and who did it better that I didn't even do yet.
Right.
Some stuff, it might not need to be done because if you hear the original and you hear the remake, the original be like, man, you should kill them. The remake, so some of it be a landslide, ain't worth doing. But it's fun to help. And then I collect records, me, myself, Solomon, my man DJ Ahmad. We'd go, we'd go, shout out to him. Y'all ain't calling me about them parties till I'm gonna see you. We go collect. We all over, man. Me and Solomon jump in the car, hit 4 record players. Right. Long Jersey. We go out down by Lambert. We all over Philly, everywhere. South Jersey, wherever it is, vinyl. And me and him actually, see, this thing ain't just start. Solomon and I used to collect vinyl back in the late 80s, early 90s. We was going to record conventions, buying rare vinyl, spending $100 for an album in 1990. I got records I paid $100 for back then.
Ooh, I know.
The original. Well, we've been collecting for years. Like we've been hitting record stores in the city for years, in the village and stuff like that. So it kind of died out when the digital age came in. Everybody was getting this. And what's supposed that we was taking it offline and stuff.
MP3.
Then it went to the Napster, era. And we was getting a lot of music like that, so I kind of fell off from buying vinyl because I knew how to convert that stuff and put it in CD form. So I built my massive collection just with CDs and music files. And then I had a room in my house that was just sitting there. And I said, you know what? let me get these records out crazy. And it just started from there, man. Just be back at it.
Yo, you gotta do a segment where you taking your albums out to slip cover. I mean, you gonna do that whole process, bro.
I ain't never think of it like that.
Yeah.
Because this, I ain't, you know, I want to hear the music and I ain't
Right.
trying to.
Yeah, I read the technical side, you know. Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean,
because I see, you know, I was about to ask you, did you have all that built? And you know, I mean, everything is nice and neat, and I don't know how you got it. Yeah,
alphabetical order. My son still, he be bugging. He come in my house. How do you know where everything is?
Yeah.
I'm like, because he's like, well, where's that knock right there? And that, because I set it up.
Right.
And as I put everything in alphabetical order, I got thousands of CDs, cassettes. I can still play all that stuff. I got a cassette player and recorder, CD burner and player.
Mm-hmm.
So I could still make CDs and cassettes. You know, tedious, but I can still do it.
Right.
Because I still listen to all that stuff.
Right.
Because if you got some records and stuff you want to get rid of, I am the guy. Call your boy. I will unload them for you. You know what I'm saying?
I gave you a crate or two.
Yes, sir. You bless me with some joints. Appreciate it.
Yes.
It's a few people, but 90% of it I would collect because people think I got my father's old music. I'm like, man, this ain't Charles stuff. Oh, went and found this stuff. You know, because it's a lot of music, man. Yeah. It's so much, and I think I got thousands. Yeah.
Yo, when you do your thing, bro, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And then I just imagine you not being as a DJ, and I started with the vinyl. We DJ them.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it didn't even go in the right slip cover sometimes, you know. Yeah. But I could see you, ho.
Yeah, well, because I'm seeking these records out, and it's I'm seeking them out. So you want to take care of them because
right,
the resale value is crazy.
I'm sure
it's crazy. You go to Discogs and you see what they selling this stuff for. I go out Lambertville to their record stores and out in New Hope, and I'll be like, they want this for this, but people paying it, and people don't realize how many people is into vinyl. Vinyl outsold CDs for the first time ever, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how many people you can still. Now groups and artists is putting their music on vinyl. Okay. You can buy new stuff on vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like because it's a thing.
Right.
Like I go to record stores, it be packed. Like man, you don't get out the way, and you can tell the novice diggers from the veterans like us because we know they having this little delightful, like it's an event to them, and like man, you don't get out the way.
Right.
I just seen that little Jimi Hendrix record in there. I'm trying to play that for somebody else.
You don't know nothing about it. Yeah.
Passing on record, somebody just say, "Oh, he went right back." I'll take.
Yeah,
let me get that. Yeah. So it's a big. You'd be surprised how many people collect vinyl, and once you start collecting, you start moving around, you be like this. Wow, it's a thing, bro. Hey. And if you think my collection's something, look at DJ Ahmed. Solomon got a nice collection. Yeah, Solomon nice. He got a nice collection. And see, we all have a lot of the same stuff, but we all have stuff that each other don't have because I got a particular thing about certain type of music. Right. He might not have. Right. And so, we look out for each other. Right. Okay. So in other words, somebody give me 50 records and I got 25. Come get that. Right. My man Buddha, he's involved in it. And like I got another section of my house where my family room at. I got a record player and records out there. But the records out there is for you to take. Like I got stacks because sometimes I end up buying duplicates. Okay. Or sometimes I forget I got a record. I done bought it 3 times. So I leave it out there, and everybody who come over that collect records know to go there. They go there. Oh, I ain't got this. I ain't got it. You know that's for them. And that's why I do it for. Okay. So because and then sometimes when Solomon gets some record. You got this, you got that. He'll give it to me.
Right.
I may do the same thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. Because, it's because I ain't know what I'm gonna do with it. I could be greedy and resell it, but
But you know a couple, your crew into it, boom.
I want his record collection to be strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to go over his house and see we meet up sometime. We play records at each other's houses. We take turns, different houses.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we at Mad House, sometimes we at Silent House, sometimes we at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after we go shopping, digging and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Ramsey, another one with a lot of records. He got a lot of 45s. He in the 45s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have so many 45s. Solomon in the 45s. But we would go to each other's houses. They would bring records. I don't bring records. I know your collection. What I want to hear, I don't need to bring mine. You got it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
You don't got to bring no records of mine. So that's how we do it. But that's a whole culture, man. It's fun, man. It's fun digging, and and the history on albums, man. My son come to my house, my oldest son, and he'll sit in the room and just play Nas and just read. Because back then you had where the record was mixed at, who produced it, who performed on it, who wrote it. It's history,
right?
So now then it's a different vibration than listening to music out of a Bluetooth. You hear that bass in my when you think that thing clear on YouTube. When I play the music, or you come in my house, you hear that. Man, that bass and all that stuff go through your body. It's a whole different energy when you listen to the records.
I'm sure,
especially when you sip it.
I get a bottle of more or something. Listen. I know it's a Friday, rainy night. Listen,
bro, I was gonna have it tonight.
Look. That's why we don't see you on camera.
I'm sipping. I'm enjoying the music because it's an energy, man. Mm-hmm. And you can create an ambiance because we all got different ambiance. Like you go to Solomon house, Solomon basement, it's fly. And he got a different ambiance than mine's is different. Than Ahmed's got a more DJ vibe. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's a different ambiance, and that it's fun, man. You'd be surprised what music brings memory and conversation, and you sit back and 3 hours pass and y'all on a whole nother. It's absolutely fun, man. One day you come through, man. If you see me playing on Friday night, you're welcome to come over.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm playing, I'm sipping, I'm smoking my cigar. Well, I don't smoke in the house, but I go back.
I got you.
And you're free to come. I'm up till, whatever. If company come, I ain't going to sleep.
Guess what? That day I come, I'm gonna make sure I bring an album that I hope you don't have.
Oh, yeah, because I'm gonna have to buy it from you. You get that, bro.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I'll go find it, though. That's the fun part.
Right.
Finding it.
Right.
And then you saying, sometimes I go to places and find records that I forgot about. Man, and then the history and the memories tied to it.
Right.
Just makes it
even better.
Yeah.
Well, peoples, our time is up, and
I was having fun too.
I know. I feel.
This was cool.
All right, man. I thank you again, man. Thank you again, and I'm gonna be by with that album and the cigar,
good, man.
And we definitely gonna chop it up. But I will see you tomorrow at the fights.
That's right,
as well.
That's right.
And I know you got to get back to the kids this evening.
Yeah. Go and beat up somebody's child.
Okay. Get the little fat kid out the corner and eat.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of them now.
Okay.
Snacks falling all over the place.
And then they're in the world champions.
Yeah, because it clicks. You keep them in there long enough, it rubs off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and it's fun watching them, man. It's also.
I bet.
It's also, man. You realize how old you are when you see a kid that's now 25 years old. You remember he was 8. Whoa, wait a minute. You got kids?
Yeah.
I got kids. I got fighters in law school right now.
Good. Yeah. That's a good feeling, man.
Yeah,
that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Well, we thank y'all for tuning in to another One Love Entertainment podcast. I thank my brother O for coming on. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Please make sure y'all, if you get an opportunity to go to Knuckle Game Gym tomorrow at 3:00, check out the fights. The up and coming champions will be in the building. I will be in the building. So with that being said, I want to say good night, one love, peace, and we're out of here.
All right, peace, y'all.